Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 3 of the Brass Ringers podcast. We are here as the uncrowned tag team champions of podcasting, myself, Merlot Williams, and my buddy here with the SmackDown Skinny and the Raw Recall, Gariel Garrett. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing great. How are you doing, Merlot?
I am a little under the weather. It was a rough day today.
Just getting over a cold myself, so I feel you on that one.
No, that's not even that. It's all like work stress and home life stuff, and like nothing super serious. It's just one of those days where like every little thing that could go wrong goes wrong. Like, you're trying to put your keys in the car and you drop the keys, and like, you drop your $20 bill like in the sewer drain and stuff, like just stupid shit like that.
Oh, well, at least you didn't try to put your house key in your car.
Oh, nice. No, actually, that was a couple weeks ago. My house key broke off in the front door.
That sucks.
Yep, my father-in-law had to come up and replace the lock. It was awesome. That guy's a lifesaver.
Isn't it great having people like that you can count on?
Yeah, it's really nice for the do-it-yourselfers, because I just panic and call a professional.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, it sets me back like $200. Like there was a time that where our washing machine quit working, and I was like, "Fucking hell, we're gonna have to get a brand new washing machine. We don't have that kind of money right now." My wife pulled off the back panel, wiggled some wires, and it's worked ever since.
Seriously?
Yeah, no joke. Like there was a loose wire, and she fixed it, and now it's ran like a dream ever since.
That's awesome. Our fridge is pretty much kaput right now because our water machine's not working on it, but we get ice. That's nice.
Oh, yeah, that's groovy shoes. But people didn't come in here to listen to us jabber on about our personal lives. They came to hear us talk about professional wrestling. Is there any developments off of Raw and SmackDown that you feel warrant bringing up?
SmackDown, not so much. I watched it. I think I might have fell asleep halfway through, but I watched it. I tried anyways. But Raw, on the other hand, had a couple moments. Like, as of right now, as per last week when we were talking about the Intercontinental Championship, it is official. There will be a multi-superstar ladder match for the IC title at WrestleMania. But the question is, who's going to be in it? Well, as of right now, it says, where's my notes at on that? Basically, it's going to be Wade Barrett, or Bad News Barrett, defending the Intercontinental title in a ladder match. And as of right now, Dean Ambrose, R-Truth, and one other superstar, I can't remember who, are the only ones that are in it as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other thing that I thought was great was there was a Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns match at the end. That was the main event. Seth Rollins gets the victory and then proceeds to get the crap speared out of him as he leaps off the top rope, and Roman Reigns just destroys him.
Nice, because they got to make Roman look really strong.
That's always the way it is. You have to make Roman look good. And yeah, so we have that. And then there was... Actually, Luke Harper ended up with the Intercontinental Championship because everyone's trying to steal it from Bad News Barrett, because apparently you don't have to win the title to hold it anymore. You just have to wait till the champion's not looking and take it from him.
Neat.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose started it at Fastlane, and then Wade Barrett got it back, and then was in a match, had it sitting in the corner, and R-Truth decided he was going to steal it, and then R-Truth stole it, and was caught by Dean Ambrose later that day and said he wanted it back, so he gave it back to Dean Ambrose because Mr. R-Truth don't want to get in buddy's business. And so then later, and then tonight, he ended up stealing it again. Luke Harper comes up behind him and takes it from him and walks away with it. And basically there was a big bunch of, like he says, the way R-Truth puts it is that's the most title changes in one night that the IC title's ever seen.
Well, now it makes a little bit more sense. I was listening to Law Radio earlier today, and Wei Ting and John Pollock of Law Radio had said that it's like a super watered-down version of the 24/7 rule from back in the Attitude Era with the Hardcore title.
Pretty much, but you don't even have to pin the guy to win it. You just have to wait till he has his back turned and just take it from him.
So even though Wade Barrett is the Intercontinental Champion, he's running around without the belt. At least when there were two belts with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, that made sense. Now everybody's just kind of like chasing after the Intercontinental title and just taking it like it's the one ring.
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody wants the Intercontinental title. Honestly, I believe Dolph Ziggler is going to walk out of WrestleMania with the Intercontinental Championship.
Wouldn't it be the ultimate ball slap if Daniel Bryan walked out of Mania with it?
Technically, he has not been confirmed to be in the multi-superstar match yet.
He hasn't been confirmed, but based upon the rumblings, he's going to be in it.
Based upon the fact that he holds a win over the IC champion, even though he doesn't have the title, yeah, we'll go with that.
But can you just imagine it though, that if he does get added to that multi-man title match, Daniel Bryan walks out the Intercontinental Champion, and John Cena walks out the United States Champion?
Yeah, but can you also imagine if Daniel Bryan doesn't win?
I just think it would be funny, it's like, well, you didn't get him in the main event, but here's your consolation prize.
That's what you were saying on the last show, is that
last week.
That if Daniel Bryan gets a shot at the IC title, it's basically like, hey, you didn't quite make it to WrestleMania, you didn't win the Rumble, so here's a consolation prize. Go F yourself.
Anything else good that happened?
As of right now, Cena is not facing Rusev for the United States Championship.
Well, and another point that Pollock and Wei Ting had made was that he entered himself in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal last year too, and wound up wrestling Bray Wyatt. So I wouldn't exactly say he's not going to wrestle Rusev.
Well, no, that's the thing, is he came out, announced that he was going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Stephanie McMahon came out and told him no, he cannot be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Straight up said no, you can't be in it.
Well, do you really think that they're going to leave him off the card, though? Come on.
No, but the way they're building it up, she said that the only way that he's going to be able to face Rusev at Mania is if Rusev changes his mind. And basically,
they still got 3 weeks left, too.
Yeah, they do. So John Cena has a lot of time to grease the wheels and possibly beat the living hell out of Rusev into convincing him to give him the title shot.
Yeah, but we'll see where that goes. I think that it's still going to be Cena and Rusev at Mania.
Yes, but the thing that I got from that entire segment with Cena and Stephanie McMahon was the fact that Stephanie McMahon laid into him. Like, the look on John Cena's face was priceless.
I'm going to have to see if I can go find the video.
Because Cena came out there and was talking about how he's been doing this for 10 years, and she basically came out there and said, what, you think you're something special? You think you're one of the superstars of the past that can just come in and say what they want and do what they want and take what they want? You believe that the WWE wouldn't exist without you? You got it wrong, Cena. You wouldn't exist without the WWE. And the look on his face was just like, did she really just say that to me? What the hell is going on? And she just laid into him, and basically he just shut up. It was the first time I've ever seen John Cena shut up legitimately.
Nice.
Okay. And Curtis Axel is still in the Royal Rumble, in case you haven't noticed.
Oh, yeah, that's something I kept hearing, is that he's still doing the counter gimmick.
Yeah, he is now. He is Axelmania all the way now. And he actually ended up having a match with John Cena, and Cena beat the living hell out of him. He basically
because of course he did.
Yeah, well, he looked at him and goes, kid, I'm going to give you a word of advice. Turn around, get out of this ring right now, or you're not going to be able to walk out of this ring.
Mm-hmm.
And proceeded to just tear Curtis Axel apart. I would have loved for him to throw him over the top rope and have him done with the Royal Rumble, but I guess they're going to keep going.
Well, that's the thing, though. Ambrose already did that, didn't he? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, technically he did, but Axel still says he's in the Royal Rumble, so...
Of course he does. Well, at least it gives the guy something to do. Like, he's getting TV time, so good for him.
Yeah, and Bray Wyatt is still on the hunt for The Undertaker. I don't know why, but he is.
I still can't believe that The Undertaker's going to have another match after last year, but no, well, it's The Undertaker, and it's his yearly match. If he feels like he can go... I mean, even though he's a lot older now, I wouldn't fuck with The Undertaker. I'm not going to tell him no.
Neither would I. Actually, funny story, I saw a commercial that The Undertaker did for some charity that he was doing. He's actually I saw it on Facebook. It was like the Undertaker needs your help. So I clicked on it, and he was going as Mark Calloway. He wasn't actually going as Undertaker. But he kept making all these references during this like promo that he was doing to auction off his motorcycle for this charity.
Mm-hmm.
He kept making all these mannerisms. He's like, because we want him to end up rest and have them rest in peace and all that stuff. And I just thought it was funny that he was actually Mark Calloway as opposed to the Undertaker, but he kept making Undertaker references. I thought that was funny.
Blurring the lines a little bit there, because the Undertaker rarely does anything out of kayfabe.
True, but you gotta think, dude. That if he's gonna wrestle this year, this will be his last year.
I don't know. I said last year was his last year, but I thought it's his last year for a few years now. So I don't know, man. Do you think he might have one more in him against Sting?
I don't know if Sting's gonna have one more in him after Triple H and him get done at WrestleMania.
That's very fair. I mean, like, both of these guys, like, Undertaker's pushing 50, Sting is over 50, so, like, it's a draw. It's not going to be a great, like, if they were to wrestle, it's going to be a great match, it's not going to be a great match, but it's going to be a big draw.
Yeah, because you have the two of the biggest icons in wrestling history.
Mm-hmm.
You got WCW and Sting versus the Undertaker in the WWE, whereas that's what they're trying to push for this WrestleMania. I think Sting coming in wanted Undertaker at Mania. But I don't think Undertaker was going to wrestle him. And the whole Triple H and him thing, I kind of like the way they're going with that, how it's the WCW versus the heart of the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm pulling for Triple H. Everyone knows why. I am.
Oh, well, obviously.
And another thing that happened on Raw was Triple H actually came to the ring and was talking about how all these people have different opinions about why Sting didn't come to the WWE to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls Booker T to the ring. And Booker T came in there because apparently Booker T had been saying stuff like Sting didn't come because Triple H had pushed him out, had used his bureaucratic bullcrap to keep Sting from coming to the WWE. And so it's gotten to this talk about power and how true power and all this stuff. So Triple H says, well, that's a very valid opinion. By the way, you're fired.
To Booker T?
Yeah, he said that to Booker T, and as Booker T was walking away, he goes, hang on, Booker, hang on. I'm just messing with you, man. You're not really fired. I just wanted to show you where the true power was and who has the true power. And at WrestleMania, I'm going to show Sting how true power can control even the craziest of all superstars. And so, yeah, I got goosebumps seeing Triple H talk to Booker T like that because it's another WCW guy getting punked by possibly one of the greatest superstars in WWE history in Triple H. Okay. But I
just looked up I just Googled when Stephanie McMahon started dating Triple H, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. Like, this sounds kind of dumb because I don't really think they hadn't been together that long.
No, they haven't.
They were dating at the time, but I really highly doubt that Hunter had that much power because I mean that back then Austin and Rock were still around too. That just sounds kind of stupid to me.
What's that? That he's the ultimate power?
Yeah, that he had that kind of power back in the year 2001.
Oh, you mean to keep Sting out of the WWE?
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. It's he was one of the top draws, and you got to think DX was like in the front lines when it came to the Monday Night Wars. They were like the first salvo, if you will, that actually hit WCW when they did the whole invasion of WCW thing in the midst of the war. That was...
Well, I would argue even before that, back when Shawn Michaels and Hunter were together and doing DX on TV, it was one of the catalysts of the Attitude Era. The thing that really kicked it off was Steve Austin. I mean, let's be honest, his win at WrestleMania 14 for the title... That is really when the Attitude Era started. Like, it kind of had its rumblings before that, but it went full bore after Austin became the champion.
That is true. Austin is pretty much the one that revolutionized the way sports entertainment looks. He wasn't the typical going to come out here and throw like a cross-faced chicken wing on you and put you in a submission hold and make you tap out. He was, I'm going to beat the living hell out of you and you're going to sit there and take it and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Well, in Austin, that was the thing too. He was more mat sound before his neck injury. He was more of a wrestler, and as time went on, after he got dropped on his head by Owen Hart, he then became more of a brawler.
Yeah, that is true. He became more of a brawler after. Well, would you want to go and try and wrestle a match with that kind of a neck injury hindering you?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it was a bad change. I'm just saying it was a change that happened.
Well, that's like Triple H. Triple H, when he first started as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, he was more of a grappler.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a smash mouth, punch you in the face kind of guy. But two quadricep tears later, a bunch of surgeries on his legs later, and the dude just wants to punch people in the face.
Yeah, for sure. So does that about wrap it up for the SmackDown Skinny and the Raw Recall?
That wraps it up for the SmackDown Skinny and the Raw Recall.
All right, so we're gonna get into NXT then, but real quick before we start, there are supposed to be 3 of us. I had originally arranged for 3 of us to be on this podcast. Problem is, I actually got in touch with Dante O'Bannon, and he had contacted me via carrier pigeon from Tijuana, Mexico. We were talking about NXT, and he found out about Sami Zayn and knew that he was friends with El Generico, and was so inspired by El Generico's story that in Generico's wake, he went down to Tijuana to feed the orphans in El Generico's stead. So he still has a spot on the podcast, but he is kind of indefinitely doing charity work right now.
Okay, that's awesome. I was trying to figure out where you were going to go with all that, and then you brought up Sami Zayn, and I was like, oh, all right, let's go with it.
All right, so the NXT for March 4th kicked off with Adam Rose back in the NXT arena. Who was excited about that? Yeah, no, nobody?
Nobody.
Yeah.
But you forgot about the package it started off with, which was Alex Riley.
I actually missed that. I should have actually had you lead it off. I missed the first few minutes.
Okay, basically the show started. It opened with the KO video of last week. Basically, him saying he'll fight anyone, anytime, and the whole thing with him and Alex Riley trying to pull his punt card and saying he wasn't a man, and then Alex Riley proceeding to fly head over tea kettle over the announce table.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so then it showed that package, and then it shows Alex Riley talking to General Manager William Regal, and he's asking William Regal for a match with Kevin Owens. And William Regal's like, you really need to think about this, man. Are you a commentator or are you a wrestler? And so he's like, okay, I'll go and think about it. And so then now we get to the Adam Rose versus Tyler Breeze match.
Yeah, that's what I actually have down in my notes here is Adam Rose is back to job to Tyler Breeze.
Well, it's either job to Tyler Breeze or go on the main stage and job to anyone else there.
Just like this Adam Rose gimmick, yeah, it's over in the NXT arena, but you're talking like 500 smart fans as opposed to an arena with 9,000 to 11,000 people in it.
Yeah, Adam Rose's gimmick, it's not going to go on the big roster. I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off with the whole party thing. I don't think it's going to work. He tried it.
There are a few people I think in the crowd who do it ironically, but as far as getting mainstream appeal, I really don't think mainstream appeal as far as wrestling is concerned, that Adam Rose gimmick has a very, very short shelf life.
Well, and Adam Rose isn't really that great of a wrestler anyways.
I heard he was good when he was Leo Kruger, but I never saw him as Leo Kruger, so I can't say yes or no on that one.
That's Leo Kruger?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got something to Google tonight.
So he was in NXT as Leo Kruger for a while, but then they took him off TV for a while and changed him into Adam Rose.
Okay, looks like I'm going to have to really look forward to that guy. Okay.
So, during Tyler Breeze's entrance, Adam Rose is kind of giving him a weird, sideways glance, dude, you're weird. Says the guy who comes out with a lollipop in his mouth, eyeliner on, and a group of people dancing with him in various costumes. Turtle. Which got over, and there was a Ninja Turtle chant as the match began.
Which was one of the most hilarious chants I think I've ever heard in a wrestling venue ever.
I'd say this match really wasn't remarkable. Like, really, all I have in my notes here is like stupid shit that the announcers were saying. Like, Jason Albert put Adam Rose over like he was a big deal, and it was just laughable. And then at one point, Adam Rose starts making that raise the roof with his arms. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's raising the roof, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! The 1990s called it wants its phrase back.
Yeah, that I actually giggled when I saw that. I was like, raise the roof? I'm like, no, I don't want to raise the roof. I'm gonna just not do that today.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was an unremarkable match. Tyler Breeze goes over with his spinning heel kick because I refuse to call it the beauty shot because that's fucking retarded.
It really is. I think the supermodel kick would be a much better finisher for him, but again, like I've told you before, we're not WWE creative. We don't have the say.
Yeah, well, what the fuck do we know? We're just marks behind their computer, right?
Yeah, we've just been watching this for like, I don't know, a combined of, let's see, I've been watching it since I was 3. That puts me at 29 years.
And then that would put me. I've been watching since I was about 4, so almost 24 years.
So we're just going to go with a long time.
Yeah, a long ass time. Either way, yeah. What would the fans know about wanting to? We don't know what we want to see. Vince McMahon tells us what we want to see, and then we like it.
Exactly.
There was one more funny thing in this match though. The like when Breeze was trying to leave, and he has to like shoo the rosebuds away with his selfie stick. He's standing in like a fencing stance and like poking at him.
I still want to get me a selfie stick like that, for no other reason than to say that I have one. Because that's just hilarious. He's just like poking and prodding, like, yeah, get away from me. Yeah, I hate you.
Back, you savages, back. So
yeah.
we had a card for the title card for the women's title match tonight. The rematch that Charlotte was entitled to for the NXT Women's Championship between she and Sasha Banks. Then we cut backstage to Enzo and his ridiculous beard with Big Cass and Carmella, who cut a good trash-talking promo on Blake and Murphy.
Yes, they did. That was some of. I think The Rock would have like blushed if he had saw that.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. But like Enzo was really entertaining on the microphone, but he ain't no Rock.
He said something about cheeks and then something about always open because they're always talking shit. It made me laugh so hard. He's like, his mouth is like a bunch of cheeks and it's always open, always spewing shit. I was like, oh, really? All right then.
Yeah, he went there. It was good. Like I could listen to Enzo talk all day. Always put Enzo on that mic. He's not the best in ring, but I swear that guy could talk circles around half the main roster, even with the crap they write for him.
Main roster, I don't know.
Come on, are you gonna tell me Roman Reigns can out-talk Enzo Amore?
Hell no. I was thinking Triple H.
Well, yeah, that's a different story.
Hell, I think Steph could take him after what she did to Cena tonight on Monday.
Steph cuts a hell of a promo though.
Yeah,
like Steph's on a different league. That's not really fair.
Yeah, that's like us saying we've been watching since we were 9 or 3. She's been in the business since she was born.
Yeah, that's the thing of it is like if I tried to cut a promo against Stephanie McMahon, she'd probably have me licking her feet at the end of it.
She'd probably convince you that you were wrong and that The Undertaker is the worst wrestler in the history of the world.
I'd probably agree with her too, but I'd be mesmerized, not necessarily by what she was saying.
Really, you're gonna go there?
I am gonna go there. Moving on. Alexa Bliss is apparently back now. She cut an unremarkable, kind of boring promo announcing her comeback after her broken nose.
Yeah, and boo.
Well, like, Bliss can wrestle. I like her, and she's cute, but I mean, like, again, this is another one where the mic is not her strong suit. She's cute, and she can wrestle, but she cannot talk.
You just described, I think, about half the divas in the diva division.
All of them with the exception of maybe Natalya.
Well, then again, you got to think Natalya comes from an entirely different background of diva wrestling.
She's a female wrestler. She's not a diva.
True.
I think Tamina might count as a female wrestler, but where the hell has she been?
I have no clue where Tamina has been. I honestly, once AJ left, I think she left.
Let's see. I'm going to look that up while we kind of continue it, go on here throughout the show. Blake and Murphy come out to go up against some jobbers. It was a pretty good match.
I could give or take that match. It was kind of stale for me. It's just Blake and Murphy doing what Blake and Murphy do, and that's look like they're getting their crap kicked out of them and then come back and completely destroy the person.
Well, yeah, that's... real quick before we continue. Apparently, she had a torn ACL, so she is out right now with an injury.
Oh, that's fun.
So, but yeah, like I said, it was a pretty good match. It wasn't like top of the card stuff, but it was a match. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it was good.
And I don't know if it's Blake or Murphy, but whichever one it is that hits that frog splash, they do a pretty good job hitting a frog splash.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty crisp frog splash. Blake and Murphy went over in this match with the running suplex frog splash combination. Then we cut backstage to Bayley and Charlotte, who spoke briefly, Bayley wishing Charlotte luck in her match tonight. And then Emma shows up, another recent demotion from the main roster.
Like I said, it's anyone who goes from NXT to being on the main roster and then back again. I don't blame the talent. I blame the writing staff.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. I mean, they had and it didn't help that she had that mishap with the iPad case or whatever the hell.
I had not heard anything about that.
Yeah, but she was gone for... Yeah, she got arrested, dude.
I thought she got arrested for, like, drunk driving or something.
No, she got arrested because she was accused of stealing an iPad, like a $20 iPad case.
Really?
Supposedly it was some sort of misunderstanding, like she had a bunch of stuff that she had checked out. It was all in her arms at one time. The iPad case made its way into the bag and set the alarm off. Regardless, she got arrested, then shortly after fired, then like a few hours later rehired.
Sure, that works.
So, and then they didn't really do much with her on TV. She was kind of palling around with Santino for a while. Then Santino retired, which thank the sweet Lord in heaven that he retired. I fucking hate Santino Marella. And then after that, they didn't really have anything for her, and they sent her back down to NXT.
And she was talking to Bayley about how Bayley needs to stop being all nice and everything, and because that didn't work for her up on the main roster, and just told her to think about it.
Well, and every time this happens, like each time I've seen this so far, every time somebody's backstage and says, you need to quit being nice and you need to be more mean, that leads to a heel turn for somebody. I mean, it led to Sasha joining the what was the Charlotte stable called for a while there, or Summer Rae's stable called?
The BFFs?
Yeah, the BFFs. That led to Sasha Banks joining the BFFs. It led to a Becky Lynch heel turn, and I'm assuming that this one's going to lead to an Emma heel turn.
Yeah, and we saw what happened to Sami Zayn, though, when he didn't heed the advice.
Yeah, he's off right now.
Yeah, he also got destroyed at TakeOver.
Nah. We don't have enough time left in this podcast for you and me to go rounds about that fucking match. So I think I honestly think it's gonna lead to a heel turn for Emma. They're gonna try and freshen up her character a little bit because she's been bubbles and sunshine for too long now, and they just kind of want to give her a new edge. Even Bayley as a face has been showing more edge lately. I don't know if that I don't think they're gonna take the same route with Emma. I think it's gonna lead to a full heel turn for her.
That sounds like it would actually be a legitimate thing to happen because there aren't enough evil ones out there right now.
Yeah, they really are. You can't really tell who's who. It really seems like these days, is everybody keeps everybody's kind of like this weird middle ground.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna be a face, but then I'm gonna turn around and hit somebody in the face with a chair.
So
and do what needs to get. Well, that's
there really are too many clear-cut faces aside from like John Cena, maybe Sami Zayn.
I'm saying Sami Zayn is a babyface. Because the way they pushed Kevin Owens over as the ultimate heel, the way that match went down and everything, me and you have discussed this at length. I think it's basically the two sides of a coin. You got the uber super nice guy in Sami Zayn, and then you got the guy who's just out there to do what needs to be done to get the job done to provide for his family. He doesn't care about making friends. He doesn't care about being nice. He doesn't care about the fans. He cares about making money for his family. At least that's what WWE Creative's going with, and so that's what we have to see and realize.
Well, I mean, it's like a by any means necessary heel. He's got a noble goal, but he does it in like a shitty way. Like at least like that's just the way that's the way that they're writing it.
Yeah, Adrian Neville was doing the same thing prior to him losing the title to Sami Zayn.
And that's why I say there aren't too many clear-cut baby faces and clear-cut heels anymore. Everybody's just kind of this weird middle ground.
Except Sami Zayn. That's the only... And when I look at the NXT roster, he's the only one I see as a clear-cut, I'm a nice guy, I'm a good guy, I'm going to play by the rules, I'm going to win by my terms, I'm not going to go out on somebody else's.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Then after this segment, we got into a package about Rhino.
Gore, gore, gore.
Kendrick was around for a week, and then I guess Rhino must be a little bit like it's going to be a longer term deal, or at least a short contract, or I don't know the particulars. I'm not an industry insider by any means. I'm just some dick at a keyboard, but I hope this doesn't become a pattern, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think the only reason they really brought Rhino back was to help the kids in NXT, to help them get to where they need to be and get to what they're doing. And because if you look at Rhino's career, from ECW to WWE to TNA and back apparently to WWE now, he's always been a mid-carder. I don't think I've ever seen him get above mid-card status.
Well, I mean, he was an ECW champion at one point.
I still consider that mid-card status.
Okay, fair enough. But again, it's just they really shouldn't. I don't feel like they should waste too much time with older guys coming down, because I mean, Tyson Kidd got back on TV because of NXT. What's his name? Curtis Axel. He was down there for a couple of weeks, or for a taping cycle. Now he's back on the main roster. He's getting TV time. So I don't want NXT to be seen as this place where the old guys go to revitalize their careers. Like, NXT had an identity all of its own with these new guys, this new talent, and everybody kicks ass. No, from the top of the card to the bottom. I mean, some weeks you get like a crappy match or a couple botched spots, but you still. This is the best wrestling program, and I really don't want the quote-unquote established superstars to come down and muck it up. Like, Tyson Kidd did really well down there, but did Axel do anything of consequence? Did Kendrick do anything of consequence? No.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly on that NXT is a wrestling show. It's not sports entertainment. It is professional wrestling. It's what, when I was a kid, what I wanted to see as I watched pro wrestling. And now as an adult, getting to see an actual professional wrestling show, it's just, that's why me and you both have a strong love for NXT.
Yeah.
And seeing that, and seeing the new guys come in, and seeing the old guys come in and trying to basically use it as a springboard to get to the main roster again, I don't agree with it, but sometimes you got to look at it from the booking point of view. If they bring in talent that they know is going to put people in the seats, they're going to do it.
But they were putting people in the seats before that anyway. Have you ever seen an empty seat in the NXT arena?
It's kind of a small arena, though.
That's fine. It is what it is. Like, Full Sail only houses, I think, seats like 500 people or 1,000 people, something like that. With them putting enough people in the seats already, I get your point, but I don't think it's necessary, because anybody who goes to NXT already knows that these guys are talented, already knows what they're going to see. They're going to see a wrestling program when they go to see it.
Exactly, but if they use the guys like Rhino, Brian Kendrick, guys that already are out there, then people who don't normally watch NXT are going to be like, oh, Rhino's going to be on NXT, I'm going to check it out. And then
but like, wouldn't you do that with somebody bigger though? Wouldn't you do that with like a Rock or like a Steve Austin, make a special appearance and cut a promo, or like Shawn Michaels or somebody like that? That to me makes more sense.
It does. It makes a lot more sense. But again, we're not WWE creative. We don't have control.
And there you go. And those guys are substantially more money too. So.
Exactly. Whereas Rhino, you could be like, hey, here's a keg of beer and like $20. Go out there and beat this guy in half.
You'd be like back in the ECW days. Next up, Baron Corbin came out and squashed a jobber, some guy with his name on the back of his tights.
Tony Briggs. I like him. The name's cool. That's about it.
They kind of tussle around a little bit. Baron goes over with the end of days. This match was really filler to get Kevin Owens out from the back and to stare over Alex Riley's shoulder.
My favorite moment of the night, honestly.
I just love that. He's just kind of hovering back there like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
It's basically like, make your decision yet? You going to fight me? Or are you just going to sit here and be a little weenie? You going to fight me? You're going to sit here and be a little weenie.
He reaches over him and he goes, he's like, I'm touching your water. I'm touching your water. I'm touching your water. He goes and grabs the water, and Riley smacks the water and gets water all over his suit.
He didn't smack the
water. Did he?
No. Kevin Owens took a drink, said it was too hot, and dumped it on his head.
Oh, did he? I thought, I must have looked away and then looked back. All I saw was water going back down the back of Alex Riley's suit.
Rewatch it. No, Kevin Owens takes a drink with water, looks at it all weird, and then just dumps it right on Alex Riley's head.
Nice.
I know, right?
This would lead to Riley standing up and going nose to nose with Kevin Owens as Albert tries to talk him down.
And yeah, I'm kind of glad he did, because I think Kevin Owens would have killed Alex Riley at that moment in time.
I think, that's and he to his credit, like Riley actually looked tough. Like he didn't look like that varsity weenie he was when he was on the main roster with The Miz.
True. He actually looked like a legitimate contender, and see, I'm excited to see Alex Riley get back in the ring. I don't like him on commentary, so I want them to do something else with him, and having him wrestle, legitimate idea, because the dude actually can wrestle.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to see that soon enough. And there was one thing that was funny before we move on to the next match. Right as Baron Corbin stood up after he pinned Job Guy, there was a sign in the crowd that said, "Reigns, Reigns, go away."
I hate you so much.
What? It was funny. What do you want from me?
Nothing. I expected nothing less from you, actually.
I saw the sign. What do you want? It was funny.
I saw the sign, and legitimately in my notes I said, Will's going to be an ass.
So,
and, yeah.
Next match up on the card was Solomon Crowe versus Bull Dempsey. We knew what was going to happen here. And after they have the title card for this match, Sami Zayn addresses the fans, says he's been in the business for 13 years, and for the first time he feels that he is not mentally right. Says he's walking the streets of, I think it was, he's home in Montreal, I believe he said. Walking the streets of Montreal, trying to get his head right, and thinking about what he is going to do to Kevin Owens when he returns.
Which is absolutely nothing.
He's going to kill him.
I think I had something in my ear. Did you say he's going to get killed by him?
Sammy's going to kill you. Sammy's going to kill you.
We could do dueling chants on here all night long.
Indeed. So we will move on to the next segment where Riley cuts in on current jobber Parker, talking to William Regal. I don't even remember.
That's what CJ stands for.
Exactly. And he's saying, oh, well, I didn't deserve Kevin Owens. I'm the only one who did it. You see the scar on his nose? Blah, blah, blah. I'm a nasty, dirty hippie. And so Riley says he's going to kick CJ Parker's ass. So it looks like we're going to be getting Alex Riley and CJ Parker next week.
That's going to be a great... And see, this goes back to what you were saying earlier about older superstars coming to NXT to try to revitalize their careers. I honestly think that's what's going to happen to Alex Riley. He's going to come back on here and he's going to make a statement in NXT.
What statement did he make to on the main roster to begin with?
That's just it.
Being the Mrs. Towel Boy.
Well, you got to remember he's NXT alumni. When it was.
That's right. Back when NXT was like a glorified game show.
Exactly. He was the Miz's rookie. That's the only reason. And so, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He stayed with the Miz, and then it got broken. He got fired. The Miz fired him and proceeded to have a few matches with him, and then. And honestly, I thought I was never going to see or hear from Alex Riley again, and then he started commentating on NXT, and I was like, oh, that's what happened to that guy.
And he's grating as fuck, so anything that gets him away from the announce booth, we are both in favor of.
Yes, sir.
Next up, then we had the entrances of Bull Dempsey and Solomon Crow. Solomon Crow has an interesting look.
I hate it. I did not like his outfit whatsoever.
So some of the high spots of the match were when Solomon Crow picked Bull Dempsey's big ass up for a suplex and failed as Bull Dempsey came crashing down on top of him. Most of the match, Dempsey seemed to work him over pretty well. Crow scoop slams him at one point and sells his back. Dempsey shortly after turns it around, goes up and misses his flying headbutt, and Crow wins with his springboard headbutt is what I was trying to figure
it. I wouldn't even call that a springboard. He just I don't know what he does. Honestly, he leans back, flips. I got nothing on that.
Yeah, he just kind of bounces off the ropes and headbutts the guy. It's one thing, as good of wrestling as we see in NXT. One thing I can say is most everyone, or at least the dudes anyway, but the guys have shitty finishers.
Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb is so stupid.
Well, it's like the pop-up powerbomb for Kevin Owens, the Yakuza kick for Sami Zayn. Adrian Neville has a kick-ass finisher. The Red Arrow is awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tyler Breeze has a spinning heel kick. Hideo Itami has a running drop kick. One of the girls has a shitty finish. Bailey has a belly-to-belly suplex.
The belly to Bailey.
I'm calling them by their real names because that's what they are. They don't deserve to be finishers.
Let's see who else we got. Frickin' Baron Corbin has a decent finisher. The End of Days.
The End of Days at least looks good. I mean, and like Bull Dempsey, the flying headbutt, the big old tubby boy coming off the ropes. Like I get that. Like coming off the top rope with a headbutt. I get that.
I liked his bulldozer finisher to start with.
So I don't even remember it.
It's basically the snowplow, man. Al Snow's finisher.
That shows you how little I remember about Al Snow.
Yeah, I like that over the flying headbutt because flying headbutt always makes me think of Chris Benoit, and I am a
persona non grata.
I am a huge Chris Benoit fan. I always have, always will be. Because I like him for his in-ring, everything, his personal life. Because you got to remember, dude, when we watch wrestling, we don't want to think about their personal lives and their outside things. So I've always been a Chris Benoit fan, and the personal life stuff kind of, it's sad and stupid that it happened, but yeah.
It tarnished the guy's legacy forever, but that's like, I understand what you're saying, but I really don't think that this is we're talking about current wrestling. We don't want to kind of bring it to a down note. We're to debate the merits and the tragedy of Chris Benoit and his family. That's just, okay. It's an ugly thing. I understand where you're coming from, but that's just. Let's move on to something positive, which was the women's title match between Charlotte and Sasha Banks. And I have about a page of notes on this match.
Then I will go ahead and let you talk because I just said it was a great match. I don't normally like watching Diva wrestling because 90% of the time they can't.
Then why are you watching it? Like, why are you watching NXT then? If you're gonna you cannot skip this. Like, you need to go back after this podcast is done.
I watched it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's the only place I will watch women wrestling is NXT because they are actually trying to wrestle. They're not trying to just come out here and look like whores.
So, but the match would start, like, before the match even started, we had dueling chants for Charlotte and Sasha Banks.
Which
As
is weird.
Charlotte tries to tie up with Sasha, she's kind of like being real quick, and I got a chuckle because you could hear Sasha yell, "Whoa, slow down!" trying to get space between her and Charlotte. And so shortly thereafter, Sasha gets out of the ring. She's like, you know what? I don't need this. Takes her title, is going to get herself intentionally counted out. And then apparently Charlotte channeled her inner Scorpion, grabbing Sasha by the hair and yelling, "Come here!"
Amazing.
So
And
and then
throws her
she
back
goes
into
and
the
throws.
ring.
Yeah, she throws her into the apron first, then throws her back into the ring.
Yeah, that's right. She went back first into the apron, and that hurts no
Uh,
matter who you are.
yeah, Charlotte ties her up in a figure four. Sasha sells it like she's dying, and they cut to break, which I hate that they do because I immediately called it. As soon as they cut to break, I'm like, we're going to come back, and Sasha's going to have the upper hand. And they talked up Finn Balor and Kevin Owens like they were going to they were going to have a match soon. I'm like, they're like, oh, Finn Balor, he's all awesome, and Kevin Owens, the champion, they will do battle NXT Wednesdays at 8. And I'm like,
On March
oh.
25th, bro, they set the date.
Did they set the date? Maybe
Yeah.
I wasn't paying that close of attention.
It's actually going to be NXT Next Generation. It's I don't know if it's going to be a 2-hour live event, but it is called.
That's what they call the show fully. They call it NXT The Next Generation. They've always called it that.
Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens on March 25th.
Oh, well then.
That's 2 weeks from today.
Unless Sami Zayn interferes, we know who's going over in that match.
Kevin Owens is going to kill Finn Balor.
Yeah. Don't say as you say to me as I'm rocking my brand new Finn Balor T-shirt.
Yeah, that's a great T-shirt. It's nice that you support the losers.
Oh, fuck off! Get out of here. I'm not gonna diminish Kevin Owens' ability. I'm not gonna say he's better or worse than Prince Devitt. It's just that you know what? You're entitled to your opinion, even if you're wrong. We come back from the break, and Sasha Banks has the upper hand. Of course, just like I said it was gonna be. We had this awesome tilt-a-whirl spot into the bank statement, and Charlotte is scrambling and trying to get away, eventually makes it over to the ropes. Another high spot in the match was a Charlotte goes to attempt a moonsault. She then lands on her feet as Banks rolls out of the way, and then tries to attempts a senton, and it winds up getting blocked by Sasha Banks' knees.
And I gotta say, the bank statement by Sasha Banks, that backstabber flip into the crossface thing, that is actually a legitimately awesome wrestling move, and it looks like it legitimately hurts.
Isn't it though? Banks would tie up Charlotte in the corner and just get her, like she has her knee up on her throat and is doing this choke move, and just starts like kicking her in the head, like kind of shaking her around a little bit. She then would go to the outside and stretch Charlotte's back across the ring post.
Ow.
And when they did get back into the ring, she did that backstabber rollover, but it was into kind of like a modified sleeper hold. But she was a little bit too vicious and overzealous with it, and almost lost the hold a couple times.
It looked like Cena trying to put on an STF when he would be like doing it so like, I'm gonna break this guy's face off.
Yeah, like it looked good when she had it, but she was a little bit overzealous, I think, and Charlotte's arms kind of slipped up a little bit a couple times. So not super crisp, but it did look nasty. And then we had a second backstabber into another bank statement. Charlotte manages to get out. She would then toss Sasha Banks out of the ring, and she landed hard on the outside. You could kind of see her hold her face. You kind of rocked her jaw a little bit. As they get back, what's that?
I said because why? Because every time there's an NXT show, that ramp needs to be hit by something.
Well, she didn't hit the ramp. She only hit the outside of the ring. Not quite the ramp.
Same thing.
The two women would go back to trading blows. Charlotte hit an awesome spear, which elicited a better than range chant from the crowd.
Again, go to hell.
Charlotte would then try to throw Sasha into the middle turnbuckle, and she didn't quite make it all the way there. She was a little bit too far out, so she kind of hit the ring rope and then kind of scuttled over to the corner. Charlotte would then lock her up in a figure four on the wrestling post as they worked their way back into the ring. This elicited a "This is wrestling" chant from the crowd. Charlotte would go up to the top rope to attempt to hit a top rope natural selection. She would miss this move, and Sasha would retain with a pin with her feet on the ropes.
Dirty pin, dirty victory for a dirty girl.
Oh,
I have to say.
She looks 12. Are you really into that?
No. I meant dirty. I meant dirty as in she is a cheater.
Okay, wrong kind of dirty. My mind's in the wrong spot then.
You're the one who needs to check yourself and think about her looking like a 12-year-old.
Well, that's the thing is I think she's really pretty in the face, but I'm just like she has no definition. I can't find myself being attracted to her. She has no definition. No, actually, I was talking with a buddy of mine a little while ago. My celebrity crush right now is actually Charlotte.
Really?
Oh my God, yes. Are you kidding me?
Not bad.
She's tall, she's blonde, and she has huge boobs. She's right in my wheelhouse.
And could snap you in half in any given second.
I think the danger makes it hotter.
Fair enough.
No, my wife and I were actually talking about, we discussed our conversation from last week about how I said when Triple H came on the screen, she yelled, "Take your shirt off."
Yeah.
And I had mentioned that I was talking to my buddy about, I showed him Charlotte, because really, I think my two biggest celebrity crushes right now are probably Stephanie McMahon and Charlotte.
Yeah. Legitimate choices, my friend. Legitimate choices.
So overall, I thought this episode of NXT kind of it started off slow, but it picked up steam to an awesome main event.
It did. The main event was pretty good. Like I said, though, I don't like unclean finishes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're going to go out there and put on that caliber of a match, and then you're just going to turn around and basically just disregard everything you just worked your butt off for to get a dirty finish.
She's a heel, though.
I know, but did you see how hard she worked?
Yeah, she did work really hard, but again, she's a heel. It makes sense.
It does.
At least it's not a distraction roll-up.
It technically was. She went for natural selection.
Distraction roll. She missed her move. Sasha pinned her and put her feet on the ropes. That's not a distraction roll-up. It's like Bayley didn't come out and Charlotte was so distracted by her music that Sasha rolled her up and pinned her.
Okay, true. Okay, and before we end, there is one other thing from Monday Night Raw I would like to inform you about, because you're
you got about 3 minutes. Make it quick.
Okay, because you're Mr. I love Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is my best friend. He claims that he is better than Michael Jordan.
He's a heel.
He claimed that he could out-talk Jon Stewart, and he could
that's a little ridiculous.
with Khalifa.
Yeah, that's also ridiculous.
And out-eat Mark Henry.
Okay, that's just laughable.
Exactly. He started claiming all these things, and I was like, no. I thought I would give you that Seth Rollins being Seth Rollins thing.
No, I think I bagged enough on Roman Reigns. I think I deserve it after that.
Really? You need to Google The Daily Show with Seth Rollins.
I did hear that he was actually on The Daily Show. I didn't get a chance to check it out.
He hosted an episode of The Daily Show on Monday Night Raw.
Wait a minute, Rollins did or Stewart
did?
Yes, he did.
Rollins did.
Huh. Well, okay then.
Yeah, that's what I said when I saw it. It did the whole Daily Show music thing, and then it said, with your host, Seth Rollins. I was like, wait, what? And then it showed him and his two lackeys, J&J Security, just hanging out, making fun of everything. It was great.
Huh. And then, one thing I did see is Jim Cornette's co-host for his podcast. I follow her on Twitter, Alice Radley. She had said, I think it's funny that a lot of you guys are surprised that Jon Stewart can cut a promo. He's a stand-up comic. Comedy plus hecklers equals promo.
he actually ended up kicking Seth Rollins in the balls.
Which I'm sure you greatly appreciated.
I laughed hysterically. It was my finest moment of Monday Night Raw. That is my Raw moment of the week. Was Seth Rollins getting kicked in the junk by Jon Stewart from The Daily Show.
And on that note, we're running kind of short on time since we got a little bit of a late start due to some technical difficulties. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate it. You can find my junk over on mostly on Twitter. I'm mostly on Twitter at Merlot Williams. I have a Facebook page and a Google Plus page, and I also do some work for CelebrateGeek.com. So from let's see, what else? What have I done here lately? Hey, you leave me alone, Google. It's just I can't even say it because the phone is listening. But I actually did a Week in Geek News this week where I paid a small tribute to the late Leonard Nimoy. May he rest in peace and live long and prosper in the next life. On that note, for Gariel Garrett, I am Merlot Williams. We will see you next week. Till then, keep reaching for that brass ring.